Richard, let's get us started and give us a little bit of a background of what application controls are all about.
Well, first, they're application controls, and they can really be looked at by any auditor, not just an IT auditor.
So maybe give us a couple of examples of some easy initial wins that auditors can do. So auditors that maybe aren't as familiar with this, that are going to get into this for the first time, what's a couple easy first things that they can get into?
Easy first things, who has access to this system? Are you relying on Excel? Everybody has access to Excel, unless you have it password protected. There are controls that you can put in place so your spreadsheets are protected. If it's something more significant, financial application like SAP, you have hundreds of different roles and responsibilities that are included in that application. But you typically have a series of process checks to make sure that the people who have access are the right people.
I've done an audit before where the password, the initial administrator password for the system had never been changed. So a very simple, non-technical thing that I think auditors can get into, just asking those basic questions of, did you change the administrator password of the system?
When we're looking at the basic applications for a non-IT auditor, we don't need to go into that much depth. You can find issues that might exist if there are configuration problems that weren't established at the setup. Do we have roles set up? Is that an option? Well, maybe we should set those up. Do we have input controls, or are we relying on free text for every field? That may or may not be something that we can control, but we can certainly identify it so that management knows whether that's something they should be considering. Because when we look at data that comes out, if we ask for a dump of information, we have to go through that and make sure that if we're comparing addresses, that we have ones and not L's, that we have O's and not zeros, that we don't have extra spaces in there. Those are input errors that we put in. But if we don't have a way to check that, then we have unknown duplicates. So that's an easy check, and it's also an easy fix, and it's a quick win for a non-IT auditor to spot.
Absolutely. So it sounds like we're trying to get auditors to think, or maybe be less intimidated by IT, and sort of treat it like any other audit where you go in, you need to learn about what you're auditing, and you need to ask some key questions about it in order to make some determinations on what you're seeing. Would you agree?
Absolutely right. To audit an application, you don't need to be a CISA. You don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to have intense technology knowledge. You just have to understand that the business is using the tool. What are they relying on? How do we know that reliance is well-founded? We do that with every process we look at. That's the nuts and bolts of being an auditor in the first place.